Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. This is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and discuss what is good and bad about them. I'm Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and we are partnered with, as ever, the Conscious Advertising Network. So thanks to those guys for supporting us and let us support you and all the great work that they do. So it would be really good if you guys could go and check those guys out after the show. So what this show is an opportunity for brands and their peers to discuss recent adverts and share what is good and great about them. And what we do is look at ads that have just been released or have just been getting a lot of conversation recently in Adland. So pretty shortly, our guests are going to join us.
Hey.
Hi.
Yes,
so guys, can you introduce yourselves to the audience?
Hi, I'm Seb. I'm a digital product owner at Unilever.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandra. I work at Costa Coffee and I head up the global innovation team for coffee.
Hello, I'm Richard Norton, co-founder of creative startup Tiny Giant.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Seb is our fourth episode in. Nort has done at least 2 or 3. And Sandra, thank you so much for joining us and being a new guest. I really appreciate that. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at 3 different ads today in the next half an hour or so. We're going to look at ads from Tesco, Burberry, and Walker's, bit of a Christmas theme, as you probably guessed. And what we're going to be doing is taking questions from the audience. So I think whatever channel you're on, whether it's Twitch or LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, please just drop your messages into the chat and I should be able to pick them up. And if they're any good, they're good questions, I'm more than happy to share those with the audience. So first up, we are going to look at this very recent ad from Tesco.
We've all made some changes to the way we shop this year. At Tesco, we're installing traffic lights to manage the flow of people. There are cleaning stations in every store. Please shop alone, wear a mask, and keep your distance. And there are screens to keep everyone safe.
Thanks for everything you're doing, because every little helps.
So, Nort, what did you think when you first saw that?
Well, Tom, hello. Well, what do I think about that? I'm going to be as positive and as radiant as I possibly can, right? Literally 10 minutes before I came on here today, I had to get some batteries, and the nearest shop to me is a Tesco Metro, but I chose not to go there. I chose to go to Budgeons, and I expect in the nicest possible way, this ad possibly tells me why, frankly. I don't know what that was. It was the thing that fascinated me the most was when you have the shot of the woman going to the freezer cabinet and she's using her elbow. I'm more interested in the fact that the only copy you can see behind it says plant-based and vegetarian, which I'm sure is very deliberate. I don't traffic lights in this. I don't know what that was. I don't mean in a bad way. I just don't know what that was.
Sandra, were you equally confused or were you swept up in the positivity?
I think for me it was less confusion. I'm more a bit like, and I don't want to be mean because I know that it's more likely the brand owners that people are most going to be interested in watching this. But it's a bit like a public service announcement. And I think in the music doesn't help that either. And I suppose if we weren't like infinity months into Corona, where we've been watching like brand messages about playing it safe and stuff, that it would be slightly less wallpaper if it was towards the start. And I get that they're doing like safety and reassurance messages, but it's kind of like, I think everyone's a bit numb to those. So
that was like Sandra. That was like I'd say to you, Sandra. That was like Chris Whitty wrote that script, wasn't it? Literally on behalf of them.
It was literally. I'm not sure he did the slide shuffle scene though, but yeah, that was for me, it was just a little bit wallpaper.
Wow, that is not a strong start for Tesco. Seb, what's your take on it? When you saw that, were you like wallpaper, annoyed, not bothered?
I think it was a nice continuity from what we've been doing so far. So again, we started during the lockdown with more safety announcement message, take your distance and so on. But I think we now move more in a funny way. It's all the mimics that we have now with all the social distancing and wearing face masks. Yeah, where I think, I saw it a little bit funny because you can see yourself doing all these behaviors right now, and we've had this funny funny point of view as part of it. But yeah, it was just to remind you that we take it seriously at Tesco.
So I didn't respond to that like that at all. I thought it was quite nice. I thought because there's an anxiety associated with going to the shops now, like with leaving the house, a bit of anxiety associated to that. You know how clean anywhere is, how infected any person is. And this felt like lighthearted and maybe a bit twee. With the music was probably a bit too much elevatory, perhaps, and could have been a little bit more upbeat. But that sort of comical, but yet having a strong safety message, I thought was quite interesting. Maybe I'm on my own, but I quite liked it. But Norts, what would have made it better? You're creative director on this. What's the why, if you'd flung this script back at the creative team, what would your notes in red been?
Well, it's like, it's interesting you say about like anxiety, and so I think the first time I probably went into another supermarket, I will name them, Morrison's, which is close to me. That very first time we went, there was anxiety, but I feel 6 or 7 months in, we're all kind of like, we know this stuff there. Everyone knows it. We kind of, it's kind of baked into us now. So it seems like a surprise. I know it's about reassurance, but it seems surprisingly late, to be honest. It's almost like you don't need to actually do this. What I would say, Tom, and I know it's about safety, and you're right, calling it wallpaper is almost an insult to wallpaper, right? But I don't want to be honest, what do I want Tesco to do? I want them to maybe transport me or entertain me. Did you think a bit more about Tesco to make me want to go there? I'd be amazed if a store didn't say it's safe to shop in, in our thing. That just seems that's a message that does the job for everybody. Why do it? Make it about Tesco and why I want to go. Why do I go to Budgeons and not Tesco? That's what I want them to challenge me. Just transport me somewhere. I think not Tesco.
Yeah, you touched on a couple of points where there's opportunities where they could have spiked a little bit more, like being a bit more playful, like when they start talking with people, the bits of people trying to talk with a mask and the type of masks that people are wearing, and when they were doing like the little side shuffle, like they're little hints of playful, but they could have got a little bit of the British tongue-in-cheek in there and like a little bit of the sarcasm. It's like the meme idea into like they could have been a bit more playful with it, and a bit more British, I think, in sense of humour.
I'm interested to get your perspective as an innovation person. Like the big innovation, really, I guess, is the traffic light system, which I think is like, is that everywhere? Is that uniform? Does anyone pay any attention to it? What was your take on that? From you work for a retail business, is that a good or a bad thing?
Yeah, so I think it's great that they're demonstrating technology and that is exactly the thing that they try to say, right, this is what we're doing different. I suppose as everyone sort of says to you about things, what's the benefit for me? And I'm a bit like, at least I know when I don't have to look at someone to like wave me in. But I think that's more of the benefit for the brand rather than the person or the customer in a sense. So it's a little bit like, yeah, that's interesting, but it's still a little bit, you instantly not forget it.
I like the wave of Sandra at the store. That's just a personal thing. I think it's a little bit of human contact, isn't it? Yeah. Have that little conversation with them while you're disinfecting your hands.
Yeah, talking about the weather.
As opposed to looking at a traffic light. They'll suddenly become autonomy. I'm just a machine waiting for me to move along the production line of consumerism.
And how about you, Seb? Come on, I would need some constructive criticism here. Like, how do you make this better?
I think what's missing, I guess, for me, it's more the other touch points from Tesco, the digital store, the drive and collect opportunities. While here, they are just, focusing on go in store and buy your product. But, again, there's so many opportunities. Again, I remember waiting until midnight to refresh my Tesco.com so that I can get a slot. So, you still have all these, funny or annoying experience about, trying to buy online or trying to get a slot to drive and collect your shopping. And this is a little bit what is missing as part of this ad is more, probably a lot of people are still doing it now, and they are, overloaded. They don't have enough staff to cater for online shopping. But I think, they could have expanded the creative to talk about all the different touch points.
So what should other brands be learning from this ad, Sandra?
Like, what has Tesco got to tell us with this ad? So I suppose it's like, because they're not really telling us anything different, or they're not launching anything that new. So I suppose there's a key thing here around actually genuinely having something to say or some new news to share, rather than sort of just doing an update.
So it might be an interesting point to see if there's any questions from the audience. So please, if you're watching this and you have some questions for our panel, I hate calling it a panel. It's not a panel.
Oh.
Anyway, the people on the call. So nice not to do panels anymore. So yeah, please drop your questions in the chat. So Norse, you're working with your clients. What would you be telling them about this ad and what they can learn from it?
I suppose I would like to think there was a time not so long ago when, like, Tesco commercials, there's not a lot that you have to do to make it better in a way. It's very subtle thing. It's like, I think Sandra and Zeb both touched on it. It could be the humor is so gentle as to not even be humor, right? If you're going to be funny, you've got to make the funny get noticed, or witty about things or situations. There are so many ways you could create the situations in a store at a time of pandemic to bring some kind of lightheartedness, Britishness, as I think was mentioned earlier. You would just dial it up a bit more. It's so got level 1 in volume, just to get to level 4 in terms of wit and humor and that. That's what I just put something in. And yeah, I think the music wasn't that music was a strange choice. I just want something a bit cooler and a bit groovier. And I know that maybe Tesco, interesting how they got there, but yeah, it's all a bit 1 on the dial when it should be at least 3, maybe.
And so, Seb, Catherine Titherington from Eagle Eye said that timing is the key. They missed the boat on this. I know we've touched on this already, Seb, but is that what brands should be learning from this? That a good idea is only great if it comes out at the right time?
There are 1 week that we are now in lockdown number 2, if I'm not wrong. So, it was, the time is good, I think, for the message. So they were still quite quick to react, and they did it as well, for the first time when, they created this campaign about, all the measures that they are taking. So they got it right in terms of timing, but again, still more or less 1.5 months to go until Christmas. Probably there will be a follow-up. That will be more level 2 or 3, as North is mentioning.
Yeah, and people know the drill, right? Although it's 2.0, but it's like everyone kind of the first time around figured out how to do it, and now the second time around they're like just going to get back on with it and try to forget about it as quickly as possible. So actually, not wanting to like re-look at it again and get. Everyone's timing on that one is, I think timing is a really good point.
Personally, I think they could have Tesco, Mr. Trick, outside their store, instead of like traffic lights, they could have Tesco or No, depending. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. If you're listening, you can have that one for free. Right. Okay. So moving on, the next ad we're going to see is from Burberry. And I first came across this ad in the Advertisers Watching Ads alumni WhatsApp group. How niche can you get? And it was actually shared by Notes. Thanks for that. And it'd be interesting to actually, what we'll do is I'll discuss how the strong reaction to this video after we've actually seen the ad itself. So I'm going to share that now.
Well, not too much sauce, please.
All right, sure.
That's the one.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Are you sure you want to take it away? It's about to pour it down.
It's fine, it's fine. No
All
worries.
right, take care. Bye-bye.
Singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. Up in the clouds, dark up above, sun in my heart, and I'm ready for love. Ready for love, I'm ready for love. Ready for love, I'm ready for love. Yeah. Do 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 do. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain. Got a smile on my face. I walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the ready for love. I'm ready for love, ready for love. I'm ready for love. Singing in the rain.
So, what an unusual experience. I was really shocked when I first saw that ad. I didn't know what was going on, and I still don't, despite having watched it quite a few times now. But I alluded to a chat before in the advertisers watching ads alumni WhatsApp group, and there was a real mix of sentiment. I know that Norts and Seb, you were involved in that conversation.
Basically, it all kicked off, Tom, didn't it? It all kicked off.
Well, I think that and please correct me if I've got this wrong, but I think there was a group of people that said it was exciting and dynamic and interesting and challenging, and then some people thought it was lazy representation. And I think I'll just read out one of the messages. I'll not. But basically said they could imagine a ad agency going, right, we'll get some kids and we'll stick them in East London and we'll make them jump around a bit and make it look edgy and make it look cool because that's what we're supposed to do because of the political climate at the minute. And where some people are just like, I really like this ad. So I'm still confused by it, but I'm really curious to know what you guys think. Sandra, what did you think when you saw the ad?
I actually really liked the look and feel of it right from the start. You know, it's a bit more real. It looks like places you've been in East London, right? And like being a Londoner, you recognise it. And I really like the fact that it wasn't this ideal that a lot of ads paint, you know, of like really happy families in this beautiful, warm, like bright house with the wife really happily cleaning the toilet because she's got like some new bleach or something. But so I really like the fact that it wasn't like that. I mean, for me, saying that, if you hadn't when you watch it for the first time, you're not really sure what you're watching, because it only says like Burberry right at the end, and and it goes on for a little while, but at the same time, it's quite cinematic and it's quite beautiful, like the dancing. But my sum up of it is it's an ad created by creatives for creatives. That might be the point of it, right? But I'm not sure if it's, and I don't mean that offensively, but I'm not sure if it's for the average person who's not that much into cinematic ads.
And Norts, you shared this in the group. This was your find. What was it that struck you about it?
Well, I like what Sandra, sassy Sandra, like she said there. I'll tell you, one of the things I did do when I first saw it, I went straight to Burberry's website to suss out how much a Burberry piece of clothing was. And when I looked at them, I realised that I would never own a piece of Burberry clothing. And so I thought I'd share it on the group. Now, I will say, Tom, to you that I am fortunate enough to have written a script for an ad that was made into a commercial, which was a song and dance ad, which was for Thatcher 2 or 3 years ago, which subsequently was used by the brand all over the world. Now, I kind of knew, right? No, not really, because I knew in terms of like execution of advertising ideas that if you have a good song and you have some good dancers and you have a great choreographer, there will be a certain joie de vivre about it and uplifting. You will never go wrong taking a song and putting a dance routine to it, right? There will always be an audience that love it simply because people love great music and great dance in a way. beyond that, interesting. Why it's very different for Burberry, I guess, isn't it? They did a kind of interesting Christmas ad 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, it was there, wasn't it? Unless I got horribly muddled up with them. Where it was about gift giving, and it was a really awkward. And that was a kind of. This is, yeah, as you say, it's gone to it's gone street. It's kind of there. What's it all mean? I'm more interested in terms of that as why the guy she gets her food, doesn't she? The guy takes it off her and throws it in the waste bin. She never gets to eat it, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm always looking for
Can't dance holding a kebab. That's the thing. It will get on the Burberry.
I'm looking for the hidden messages, the hidden codes, you know. But as a piece of, if we take it for what it as an experience, just what I do enjoy the beauty of it, the dance, the moves, the I mean, Singing in the Rain is probably a top 10 most played song ever. So you're never gonna go wrong, are you? I don't think.
And yeah, I think that the song actually, and the way that song's composed, is the thing that really sticks with you, and you hear it and plays it. And yeah, it's really
earworm central, isn't it? Singing in the Rain.
And Seb, what do you think when you first saw it? And could you help the audience understand the kind of things that you shared in the chat? Because I think you're very articulate about it.
I think for me it was, you can see that they are trying to go in a different market to reach a new audience, which is the streetwear, audience. And the streetwear have been booming for the last couple of years. Like you can see Louis Vuitton doing this. Dior had a collaboration with Nike with launching the Air Jordan 1, which is now at thousands of pounds on StockX. But you can see, they have to enter these markets, to diversify, their offer. But and again, the ad was good. If you want, to show urban life in London, you have a good soundtrack, dancing, a part of London as well, and using the right audience for it. But I think for me it was a bit too much. Is the advertising enough to get Burberry earn his stripes into the streetwear industry? If you compare it to the way, for instance, again, Louis Vuitton is doing, they took a black creative artistic director, Virgil Abloh, to design their clothes. So they have collaboration with different people. So it's not just the ad; it's also the people that are working for you. It's also the collaborations that you have. So Louis Vuitton and other collaboration with the NBA, for instance. So definitely they are it's a stronger presence into the streetwear, while here it's just, that's just the ad, and then what else?
And what really confuses me is, how does it all work together? Is this a Christmas ad? It's got, well, it's not snow, it's kind of like northern mega sleet or something, isn't it? It's a, but then it's got, excuse me. Then it's got there's a beach scene in it, so that's not very Christmassy. And then Singing in the Rain, but it's not rain. Does that matter? Why are they dancing? So I'm really conflicted because I can't work out why those things join together. But I love it because it doesn't. I love it because it ignores the sort of luxury tropes. It doesn't feel like a normal sort of high end coat ad, does it? And it kind of just says, look, I'm just going to go and do something weird and different and stand out. And stand out it does. But Sandra, where are you on that? Do you think that it works because it doesn't work? Or do you think it should actually hang together in a more stronger thematic and conceptual way?
So I didn't even realize it was a Christmas ad. But
is it? I don't know. It's snowing.
Well, it's good question. Maybe what comprises a Christmas ad? Is it just when it's available, or does it have to reference Christmas?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a climate change ad with those large. Who knows? But does it matter? Does it matter? It's just
no.
I don't know. No. It was nice to look at.
So, Sandra, sorry, we cut you off.
No, it's okay. I think does it stick together? Doesn't it stick together? Yeah, it's a little bit. I think it does stick together. I think it's hard to know what you're like. You're kind of entertained by the music and the dancing. So you don't actually. I can't remember the outfits very much. I think there's one jacket I remember which the guy wears who does the main dancing and jumps in the water. So whether it does the job it needs to do, it's not. I don't know if it's going to sell a lot of clothes, but I think, as Seb touched on, it's about shifting people's perspective of the brand. I think it'll give them I think it's surprising from Burberry. So in that sense, I think it works and it's interesting in that sense. It's not expected.
So Seb, what would have made this better? We noticed actually also in the group that someone shared they posted it on Instagram, and Burberry said you have to turn your phone round, which they just gone, we're going to go really big, and they hadn't sort of done variants, hadn't kind of optimized and so on. It wouldn't appear. So was that a mistake? Have they spent too much money on Petticoat Lane, or should they be really thinking about cross-channel and more so than just getting people to switch their phones to landscape?
Yeah, that's true. It's, this is a TV ad, but again, it's how are you replicating this experience? Even I went on the website, I didn't really see, I think the last, if I'm not wrong, it's still Marcus Rashford that is on the website. So I think it's how are you replicating this look and feel, on all the other channels, but also on your own properties as well. But again, it will be interesting to see whether, again, you're trying to go into a different, in different market in the fashion industry, whether this will be pulling off the traditional Burberry buyers, how everything will work together next to each other. So that will be an interesting one, especially, how are you replicating it on your existing social media channels?
So we have a question from the audience from John Pritchard. Thank you, John. He asks, who are they actually talking to? Or is it simply interesting for being interesting, with a TikTok segment thrown in? And actually, yes, it just looks like it's like a TikTok TV ad, isn't it, in some senses? So, Nort, who do you think they are trying to talk to in this ad?
Definitely not me. But I must say, like Sandra, when I saw that, the first action I did on watching it was to go and look at, I thought, I've never owned a piece of Burberry in my life. Wouldn't it be lovely? So that worked, didn't it? Right? I didn't do it as an ad. I went, I'd love to know how much a piece of, because I really like that coat. I really want it. Oh, I'll never own it, will I? Once I saw it. Well, I guess it's that street. It's that street, that younger audience. There's a TikTok now. Going back to that integration, I wonder if Burberry are doing the TikTok thing. It's so obvious to do the thing, isn't it? To turn a campaign, a Singing in the Rain TikTok extravaganza. You'd love to think that's ready to go, isn't you? I could go there right now and explore that and enjoy it, but I don't know. I will, of course, now do that and find out whether I'll be disappointed. But yeah, it is like you said. It's TikTok TV, which is a nice thing to say. And that to me is a TikTok audience. Are they buying Burberry?
So I'm gonna have to show this. Actually, I can't show this, but Catherine. Oh, you can. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but Catherine says definitely didn't appear on TV in the north. Wigan wouldn't understand the throwing away of a pie bomb in favour of whatever in favour of dancing. I think is the rest of the.
That would never happen.
So thank you for that, Catherine. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look at our final advert for Walkers. So if you just give me 2 seconds, I will tee that up. Here we go.
Deck your bowls with sausage roll flavour crisps.
Hark how they taste, too good to waste. Sweet sausage roll with carols.
Babies in
bringing good cheer to young and old. This flavor's sold there for a really, really, really good cause. Like a tasty pastry, secret Santa Claus. Oh, sausage roll, flavor crisps. They're more than just well tasty. They're raising cash for charity for those who live in poverty. Oh, sausage roll, flavor crisps.
Taste just like meat in pastry.
Oh, sausage roll, flavor all the way. Oh, what fun it is to sing at Gary's door all day.
Who are you again, mate?
Lad baby, I love sausage rolls. That's Christmas #1, mate.
Oh, we've all had a Christmas #1,
twice, mate.
Oh, call you back.
Let's make it a Merry Christmas.
Let's make it a Merry Christmas. Let's make it a Merry Christmas with bags full of cheer. So bring out the sausage roll crisp. So bring out the sausage roll crisp. So bring out the sausage roll crisp. The best thing this year.
It's Christmas! Grab a pack and unleash the power of sausage rolls, because Christmas is for sharing.
Well, maybe not your crisps.
Right. Who wants to go first with their first reactions to that Walker's ad?
Go on, Seb. It's yours. You go in about first. Come on, Seb.
I think it was a traditional, for me, it was a traditional Walker's ads. You know, you can't put another brand on it. So it's, you know, what you would be expecting from them. The only bit for me, it was a little bit too long and a lot of, you know, Christmas songs behind it. But yeah, it was, you know, probably, you know, we don't necessarily have all the British culture here, but since that there were a lot of celebrities as well as part of it, I've just recognized Gary Lineker, but
and more, Seb, and more.
So how about you, Sandra? What do you think when you first saw this ad?
I think Nort's reference earlier with there's some key ingredients that if you get in an ad, it's going to be a blinder. And I think like this is pretty much like textbook Great British Christmas ad, right? You've got your cheesiness, you got your puns, you got your Z-list celebrities, you've got your sing-along catchy song that the kids are going to be like terrorizing their kids with, their teachers with at school. And it's just a bit like cheerful, right, and distracting, and it kind of reminds you of like non-corona times. So I think what should Tesco's have done? A bit more like this. I think it's just your bread and butter. Everyone will love it. It's whether you're in the north with your like your petrol bombs that were mentioned earlier, or whatever, or like your wherever you are. I think it's just a crowd pleaser. It's just a crowd pleaser.
Just a crowd. It is true, Sandra. The algorithm of Christmas ads was used on this, wasn't it, to great effect? But that's not to say it comes with many rewards, because you say there's some good, as a writer, some good little puns going on. Good to see that Brian Harvey's getting a check this year. That always puts a smile on my face. A little quiz for you, Tom. A little quiz for you, impromptu quiz. Lad Baby there, he's had 2 back-to-back number ones with his sausage songs, right? Is one of only 3 artists to have had back-to-back number ones. I reckon you can guess one of the other artists.
We're off topic here, Nort. If anyone wants to pop that into the chat, that's fine. I'm dodging.
But I want to go to, because the point is, you had the celebrity carols, you had Lad Baby, you had the last 2 Christmas number ones, you had Ali Jones, you had Brian Harvey, you had all the ones that kind of resonate, and of course, top it all, you have Lineker on there, who obviously plays this beautiful Walker's role. He plays against himself in real life. So again, you're onto an absolute. That to me is your kind of definitive, heartwarming Christmas ad. And also sausage roll crisps, always doing the novelties, isn't it? I think there's also now a sausage roll links. It's going to be the flavour of Christmas this year.
Wow.
So we're getting a bit close on time, so there's still time to take some questions from the audience if you guys would like to pitch in. But I feel we've got to like a warm, happy place here. You know, there was a discomfort and a dissatisfaction with the Tesco ad, confusion with Burberry, but I think Tesco seem to have, Walkers have seemed to have nailed that warmth. And I think for me, there's a point at the start of the Christmas season where you see everything for the first time that's really lovely. Like you see your first Christmas tree, you're like, oh, you smell roast chestnuts, oh, you hear Slade for the first time, you're like, oh, and then it just diminishing returns after that. And it's just like, by the time you've heard Mariah Carey 17 times, you're just like, enough. But I think that they've nailed it for me, like actually dropping it right now, because everyone's kind of like past Halloween and it's in that, oh, right, yeah, what am I going to get so-and-so? I want this for Christmas. Where we're going to go? We're going to be at home. So for me, they've absolutely nailed it on timing. Even though...
And the funny thing is, one of the signposts of Christmas is the Coke ad, right, with the lorries. And what I love about is the way that this ad opens is it's their own version of their lorry taking the piss out the Coke ad, and I thought that was really clever. It literally beat Coke.
It's hidden. There's lots of hidden things that you get returning to the ad. There are many hidden little jokes and little nods to other things. Even a bit of Slade, isn't there, in there as well?
There's another quote from John Pritchard again. Thanks for that, John. It felt like a typically cliched Christmas ad hanging off a raft of B celebs to see it through. Half the length, and the funny bit was the black and white. Half the length, and was the black and white segment with Lad Baby. If they played on that more, that could have been the ad right there. So, do you guys think that they went too far? Was there too much? Or was it? I mean, it's quite a long ad, I guess, but in a world of cut downs, maybe it's ideal for that. Seb, what do you think?
I think definitely, the length will definitely be the 30 seconds on TV, but I think, the beauty with the Christmas ads, you will have different ads, from emotional one, I think that Disney just released a new one recently, so to funny one. So I think, it's all the diversity of Christmas ads that will be on air in the next couple of weeks.
And Sandra and Notes, what do you want to see from subsequent Christmas ads this year? What should brands be trying to nail for you guys?
Me personally, given what we've had, I think I touched on it earlier. I want to be transported places that I cannot go right now because I can't go anywhere. That's what I want. Take my imagination off to places. These ads have already been made, haven't they? So I'm just gonna have to wait and see what gets served up. Transport me to. I want it to be cinematic and grand and just magical, but possibly in a non-trope way.
And how about you, Sandra? Do you want to be transported to somewhere else, or do you want some gritty, real TikToks that remind you that we're all there in it together?
So yeah, I'd love to be transported somewhere. I think for me, I just want to be distracted and I just want a bit of humour to laugh at. That's why everyone's sort of the currency of today at the moment is everyone sort of sharing memes just to cheer each other up, right? And I think it's just that little bit of entertainment and laughing and like tongue in cheek. Like it's not this whole idea about what we're missing out on and how things used to be or hold on for the future. And it's just people just want distraction. They just don't want to hear about all the bad news. So yeah, a little bit of just humor, lightheartedness, entertainment.
Well, thank you so much for that, Sandra, Seb, Notes. That was a brilliant show. Thanks so much for joining us.